Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Lex Kane's TV Reviews. It is another spoiler review on the Doctor Who episode Empire of Death, the season finale of season 1, season 14, or is it classed as season 40 something else? But I don't class it as season 1 myself. So the episode does a recap from last week's episode from The Legend of Ruby Sunday. We get like all the snippets of all the best bits, if you call them the best bits. And then you hear Sutek's voice. And the new version of Sutek, to me, looks like a Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers villain, rather than a Doctor Who villain. It just looks very too over the top, the CGI really there, for my taste. I like CGI, don't mind it, but when you use it too much over the top, you can really spoil the technology. So we cut to the title sequence straight away, and after the title sequence, you see the title Empire of Death, and then we now know that for some reason, we don't know why, Sutek is now a Titan, but he was an alien in original Doctor Who. I have this backstory about how he became a Titan, and it turns out now, in a moment, I'll tell you how Sutek came to be in this new version of Disney Who. So here we go. The Doctor tells the people in the main part of the studio to run out of the building because Sutek's servants are now going to show Sutek's power, which is sand. By blowing on them with sand, some of the people get killed off straight away. And then, for some reason, the action scene is a copy when they get out, when Mel asks the Doctor to go onto his motorcycle. It's a bit of a motorcycle chase through London. It's very on all the films you've seen, films Stargate, not Stargate SG-1, Stargate the movie, and very much on the Steve Summers vibes of The Mummy, the 1999 Mummy film, the first one he made. Very much similar technology, very much like the Avengers Infinity War, where people are dusted away. Very much like that. No original ideas here, by the way, folks. It's an exact copy of some of the biggest films of all time. And RTD can't write original sci-fi content anymore. Sorry to say, it's not working this show now. I'm more convinced this is the end for myself. And again, we go back to Sutek in another scene. Very heavy CGI effect, really. He's now got this, it's unusual animal type face, and based on a dog's type face, and the jewel, and then he's got his cape, ripped out cape. Very unusual design for Sutek. So, to me, they could have the best things sometimes, the old school effects, but if you want to give them a bit of a oomph to present them more, yeah, a bit of CGI, but when the whole character is fully CGI, it can go a little bit over the top, and you know straight away, oh, it's CGI. No. The films I've watched, like the Christopher Nolan films, and some other films, like Godzilla -1, you don't know which is CGI or practical. It's so clever how they do it. But nowadays, everything's got to be CGI, and you can tell straight away it's CGI. Um, so yeah, we go back to the time window where Ruby is, and we see the strange woman again. She's trying to find out, is it her biological birth mother, and why is she the thing about the pointing. And Ruby says, why can't I see her, like her face? And suddenly, the unit staff with Kate Stewart on top of the unit top level of the building are all killed and dusted, like in Avengers Infinity War. Just an exact copy of that fantastic scene from the Avengers Infinity War movie. Why copy something that's already been originally done and put it to Doctor Who when you know originally it was like got the audience thinking, will the Avengers come back from this? And now Doctor Who's copied off it. No original ideas. Just all of a sudden, Sutek's got these superpowers that he can just change anything to dust. I like the practical effect when Sutek put his hands on someone's shoulder and just practical, and this fella just disappeared. In the original Doctor Who, Amel says to the Doctor, nothing. They go back to the scene with Mel. There's nothing we can do except fight, she says, which is, Mel has grown up since being famous for screaming a lot. Now she's growing up a little bit in her character because she's older and more not afraid of a fight. And I think Bonnie Langford again had an excellent standout performance again. And Gatwa, he's no way to me now the Doctor, because it's a hard act to follow, and it's a very tough job to be the lead. And I think basically Bonnie Langford, Millie Gibson, and the guy who does the voice of Sutek, they were more like the leads in this episode than the Doctor was. I mean, the Doctor is just he's like the co-star really in this show, in this series. He's not shining. He's too human. You'll see that in a moment why he's too human again, and not a Time Lord. So yeah, it was very much on the storyline of The Mummy and The Mummy Returns films. Very much Avengers, very much Stargate, very much like a little bit of Raiders Lost Ark in there too. Yeah, and it's just a copy of all these films. No original ideas anymore. Very disappointing because, I think they're all thinking they're going to make money out of this. I think myself, I'm not a predictor really, but I think with the time and the month it was put on, I think it's going to be even lower the ratings this time around because it was not on a fixed time again. It kept moving the time slot. It wasn't arc based. It was very preachy this series. And going back to our finale review of this, you see people running and screaming, very much like you see in The Mummy, first Mummy film in 1999. Meanwhile, we'll go back to Ruby's adopted family home, and we see the radio announcing there's danger in the city of London. And Miss Flood says to Ruby's grandmother, "Do you believe in prayer?" and says, she says, yes, I do. And she says, I am so, so sorry. I have had to, I've had so much plans. I thought, what does she mean by that? And then they disappear, like what you see in Avengers, the film. They disappear. Sandust Effect, such a copy of Marvel. That's what I put down in my notes. The doctor tells Ruby, we've got worse problems now, because she wants to find out who her mother is. And the doctor walks into the time window version of the TARDIS. And lo and behold, it's the memory TARDIS. These Tales of the TARDIS. I wasn't a fan of this Tales of the TARDIS. I think it was a rushed idea, and I wasn't happy with it. But it was good to see the classic Doctors again. But it didn't explain why they were there. But it explained why they were older as well. You know, because they're older. Older now. But they still got acting chops. Some of them really good actors. So the Doctor says says to Ruby to remember, because he needs the memory TARDIS to get Ruby's memories. So the memory TARDIS in the time window again. We're in the memory TARDIS and the time window as well. Sorry for the confusion there. His Doctor's downloading stuff, and he says the word babes, and I'm going, what are you doing, Gatwick? What are you doing? This is not teen soap drama. It's sci-fi. It's a family sci-fi show, and yeah, it gets very annoying. I'm saying this now, and he keeps saying babes and honey in the episode, and I'm getting fed up with him saying this. A lot of true loyal fans are getting fed up with this now, because they say he's supposed to be an alien, not a human being. And the TARDIS, the Doctor takes the screen out, uses the sonic screwdriver to take out this screen, and download some information to put into the memory TARDIS of Ruby's memories. So they take the screen to the memory TARDIS. As they're just about to go to the memory TARDIS, Suchek transports the main TARDIS, the Doctor's main TARDIS, with his servant, who's now taking control of the TARDIS, to the time window. And you're thinking, how did she get into the TARDIS? Because A, they need a key. And how does Sutek know to will the TARDIS? And I was thinking, there's a little bit of story that I've gone wrong there, plotline. The Doctor was as a key. So how did Sutek get his servant to open the TARDIS? TARDIS can't open for anyone unless they've got a key. And that's where I got to get confused there, because A, he's got to have a key. B, how did the villain get in? And I just thought that was very strange. Apart from when the Master in the 1996 TV movie, he went through the keyhole in his slime form, but that was the Master because he was inside the TARDIS. But how does Sutek open the TARDIS? That's what, Sutek's servant opened the TARDIS. It's just, I got a bit confused there. I'm thinking there's gotta be, but was not mentioned after that. They just said, oh, they found a way to get into the TARDIS. So he's trying to corner the Doctor and Mel and Ruby, and he says, Sutek says, We meet again, my old friend. And then something comes on the screen of the monitor, a cameo video clip of Tom Baker, aka the Fourth Doctor, with Elizabeth Sladen playing Sir James Smith, showing clips of Pyramid Mars. I thought it was a little bit too thingy showing that, because it was trying to influence the older fans, but it wasn't working what they were doing, like putting the clips in to say, oh well, and then I just thought, what's the point putting that in, because you've already spoiled the show. Why are you weaving in something that's worked in Doctor Who, and put it on it? It was basically they were watching classic Doctor Who TV show in Disney Who drama, watching a show in a show. It just looked very strange to me. They were looking on TV monitor, watching the best of Pyramid Mars. That would look like to me they were watching a bonus feature or something on a streaming platform or on a DVD. It just felt a bit weird to me. And you could tell it was a remastered clip of it. Looked like a television classic Doctor Who television program in a Doctor Who episode, which was very strange, really, to me. Apparently, Sutekh has been on the TARDIS all the time, and I thought, how does that work? Because he sent him to the far future, never to come back ever again, and it shows you clips of all the time the Doctor in the ones who played the Doctor, and all the TARDISes, what they look like, in different, and that's why all the planets were gone. Probably that's why Gallifrey's gone, because of Sutekh, and Sutekh has always been on the TARDIS. And I thought that was a bit of cheap writing, really. So he's been there all this time in Classic Who, New Who, and now Disney Who. And I thought, no, that does not make sense. So he's been there since Pyramid Mars. So really, the Doctor didn't defeat him. And I thought, this is not making sense at all to me. So they've really tarnished that story now of Pyramid Mars. And to me, if you watch Pyramid Mars, the Doctor has defeated Sutekh in my eyes. Not in this version of Doctor Who. So now they're saying in Disney Who, the Fourth Doctor didn't defeat him and send him through the far future, never to be seen again. So basically, Sutekh got the last laugh when the Fourth Doctor thought he defeated him in this version of Doctor Who. And I don't class it, really. And then he's laughing all the way, and that's why the TARDIS has been acting strange ever since. I don't buy it, really. I don't get it. I don't think it's a good idea, really, doing that. Now go back to the storyline. So Sutekh has been pulling the strings all this time with the TARDIS, with the Doctor's life. Probably been, now they're probably putting, he was involved with the Time War and all this business and all it, retcon everything from Classic Who. Oh, just made my head turn into cabbage when I heard about this. So he made the trap all along, saying that Susan was Susan Foreman, but she wasn't. She was Sutekh's servant all along. And Gat was saying, it was a bit too late for him to say this, but This is the strange things he said. With both of my hearts and the last of the Time Lords. I'm getting fed up with this last of the Time Lord business. We're getting repeated over and over and over again. We knew when Doctor Who came back in 2005 that he said my planet's gone and the last of the Time Lords, and then Tennant said it, and then Matt Smith said it, but not all the time. Capaldi didn't say it much. I think Jodie Whittaker said it a few times. David Tennant didn't say it much when he came back, and now Gat was saying it. So history's repeating itself here. Why tell us again and again and again and again and again these last Time Lords? Just say you're a Time Lord. That's it. End of. It's like it's Red Colin 2005 all over again, and to me that doesn't work. You're just repeating the same message over again. You're not writing new material. You're not just saying I'm a Time Lord. End of. That's it. I'm an alien. That's it. The line saying I will turn back death felt like he could felt like Water of Mars where that line where I turn back death. That scene where he says Time Lord victorious. It just felt like that the way he said it to me. I will turn back death. It just felt very similar on the Water of Mars storyline to me in that bit. And the Doctor says to Sutekh, why haven't you killed me? The Doctor says, are you feeling doubt? And Sutekh gets a bit annoyed by this when he says this, feeling doubt. The Doctor says to Mel and Ruby, run. And they run aboard to the memory TARDIS. And they have some, and it takes off. And they have some problems with the memory TARDIS. And, the controls begin to spark and have problems. And then it catches fire. And the Doctor puts out the fire. And he's putting up this special rope or something, just look like rope to me, to help maintain the memory TARDIS. He puts his rope around the memory TARDIS to fix the problems. And the Doctor says to Ruby, line which is going back to past two. Not his own catchphrase, really, is it? Really, I'm so sorry. It seems that RTD likes that line. I'm so sorry. But he hasn't got his own catchphrase. He keeps using past Doctor's catchphrases and not his own catchphrase. Which, I'm not a fan of this. If you play the Doctor, you got to put your own stint on it. But put some of the ethos and lore of Doctor Who, so they know that, oh, it's the same Doctor, but he's doing a different spin on it, but he's still acting alien and mysterious and eccentric and dresses like trying to blend in, but he dresses like an alien the way he dresses and stuff. He hasn't got good fashion taste, but that's how you do Doctor Who. The problem with Gatwa is he has costume changes every episode. So I'm fed up with that. Thanks Disney Who for ruining Doctor Who. Really, it has ruined it. Really. We go back now to Earth, where Sutekh and the fake Susan is, and Earth is now like a mosaic type colour. And Sutekh talks to the fake Susan. Something stands in my way, and fake Susan says, the Time Lord. And Sutekh replies, no, the secret child. And you're getting this thing, is she something else? Is she an alien? Is she this? Is she that? And that's what's going in your mind. And Sutekh says, I will find them in this desolate universe, he says. And we see another planet or a place and a cloaked figure, and it's the Doctor. Reveals as the Doctor. He enters this tent and asks a woman at this store that she works at, "Can you tell me where I am?" She replies, "I have no idea." The woman asks where he's from. The Doctor says, "I got lost. It's been a very long time." It feels like time's gone. There's been some time going by in this episode. The woman says, "I have a baby," and the Doctor says, "Oh, do you?" And the Doctor says, "What is the place called?" And the woman says, "It's hard to remember." She says, "My memory is deteriorating." And the Doctor says, "Do you have any metal?" And the woman says yes, and she gives the Doctor a spoon. And the Doctor says, "It's very kind of you. I'll use the spoon. It may save the universe." The spoon. The woman says to the Doctor, "I think my baby died a long time ago, and I think I forgot." Yet again, Gatwa is crying, and then please stop making the Doctor cry. It doesn't work. And suddenly the woman turns into sand, the sand dust effect, again like from Marvel Avengers Infinity War. The Doctor walks back to the memory TARDIS, puts in the metal parts of the spoon into this monitor to give it power, and the screen, when Ruby puts her hand on it, the screen somehow comes back on, and an image of the strange woman appears. And the Doctor says to Ruby, "Do that again." And the Doctor says the time window is has been in contact with you all this time. That's why you can touch the screen. And we see the strange woman again, and Ruby says, "We're still alive for now, aren't we?" Or something like that, she says. The Sutek's trying to control Mel. Mel's still with us in this episode. And suddenly Ruby touches the screen, and now we see the Prime Minister from 73 yards. And the Doctor says, "This Prime Minister was very dangerous in 2046. You sure you haven't been to 2046? Because Ruby's forgot that memory, but the audience remembers in 73 yards. She doesn't remember what happened." Mel asks, "Have you found Ruby's mother?" And Mel looks very strange the way she asks the question. The Doctor uses what power is left from the memory TARDIS to go to 2046, and the TARDIS lands in London, in the deserted London, which is all desolate, in 2046. And Doctor acts a bit weird with the memory TARDIS and kisses the front of the box of it. I'm thinking, why? Why are you doing that? It's only a time machine. It's got you there. You just say "Thank you, TARDIS" or something. But like being too affectionate with it. Nareem and the Doctor are in like an army type gear now, and the Doctor has this. Well, previously a whistle came down, and now he wears it. Don't know why, but you find out why. But it's a bit strange. But he looks like an army gym teacher the way he's dressed, and he looks like they're like ready to be something Stargate SG-1 or something. The way they're dressed, and he comes to this record office with the computer, and the Doctor puts the memory screen where the computer is, and the Doctor uses a sonic screwdriver. He's got to use the sonic screwdriver for everything, and he not use his brain, and he reactivates the computer. Doctor tells Mel to keep guard in case Sutek arrives. Mel says, "Don't worry about me," but when the Doctor I think the Doctor has some kind of inkling something's going wrong. But, she's getting slowly controlled by Sutekh. Does the Doctor know? I think he does, in a sense. Got that look when he has that look. The Doctor takes a blood sample of Ruby to trace the DNA to find her birth mother. The Ruby's DNA is now in the computer, and the Doctor says, press the search button for the computer to scan. Where your mum's name will be on that system, the Doctor says. Sutek's voice is calling Mel, where Mel is in the corridor walking up and down. Suddenly, snow appears. Oh no, not the snow again. Why the snow? And then you hear the Christmas music. The Merry Christmas. That one. And you're thinking, well, I'm not thinking about Christmas at the moment. Seriously. And the DNA match has been found with Ruby. Mel's about to show the Doctor the DNA results. Mel appears under the control of Sutekh. The Doctor looks very afraid and trembling. And Mel says, give Sutekh the name. Sutekh says, bring the Time Lord and the child to me. And the precious secret as well, bring that to me. So Sutekh's servant is in the Doctor's TARDIS at the controls, and the Doctor and Ruby with Mel are teleported, with Mel being controlled now and transformed as one of Sutekh's servants. They transport him to Union headquarters, and Mel says, I have given you the Time Lord and the child to bargain for the half-life you've given me. So in other words, she wants to die. Show me the name. Why is Sutekh panicking about this name? Show me the name. The Doctor begs Sutekh that he'll save him. And Sutekh attacks him. And Sutekh says to the Doctor, you have lived far too long, little Lord of Time. So he's treating the Doctor now as a child. And Ruby says, I'll give you the name, just let him go. And Ruby doesn't know what the name means. And says to Sutekh, I just want to understand. Wish I could. It's only thing I want for all these years. I don't understand, and says to Sutekh, maybe you can. The Doctor gets up, and Ruby gives Sutekh the information, and she smashes the screen. And Sutekh says no. The Doctor smiles, and Gatwa looks more like a bomb filled the way he smiles, rather than a Time Lord. Ruby grabs the rope, which comes out of nowhere. Where's this rope come from? And it just comes out of nowhere, this rope. And links it to Sutekh. Sutekh starts yelling. Then the Doctor pulls and runs with his, puts on these gloves and runs and grabs the rope. And then the TARDIS reactivates, and Sutek's servant is looking afraid. And an energy beam comes out and destroys Sutek's servant. And the TARDIS leaves Sutekh and moves to the back of the unit headquarters area. And the Doctor and Ruby run into the TARDIS with the rope linked onto Sutekh. And they go into the time vortex and they're pulling them. And they link it up to the TARDIS console. And the Doctor has now changed time. And it was very much like Last of the Time Lords, and I thought, why are they doing the same thing again? And then all of a sudden, Susan, Kate, and Unit, and Mel, and all the population of Earth come back, and Ruby's adopted family, and Mrs. Flood appears, and they're all saying, "Oh, he's done it! He's done it! He's done it!" And then Mrs. Flood says, "Oh, what a clever boy!" I'm thinking, how does she know about the doctor? Something going on here. We've got to, something's going on here. We need to link it up somehow. The doctor's fixing the universe, and the doctor says, "I fought a monster, and I have to become the monster." And the doctor says, "I am the one who brings death." And the doctor closes the doors, and Sutekh falls into the time vortex, and Sutekh is gone forever this time. Basically, what they done in Pillars of Mars, instead of killing him off, he was forever falling through time. He couldn't go anywhere. And I thought, oh, this is really bad what they've done here. Why they've done this? There's no original idea there. And again, Gatwa, after he defeats, the Doctor defeats, Gatwa then yet again does a crying performance, that he's really upset and that he's had to defeat this foe. Well, he's an alien, he shouldn't be crying, should he? He just shrubs it off and goes on to another adventure. Eunice back up and running, and Susan talks to the Doctor, Susan Triad, and says, "I've got my memories of my family. Is it all true?" And the Doctor says, "Yes, it's all true. If you believe it's all true." And then Unit gives her a job as an advisor for if they may need her, and she agrees. Ruby's adopted mother says, "You brought us all back home." Kate says, "You brought us all back." And then Morris, the character, the scientist lad, says, "We found a DNA match for Ruby's mum, Ruby's birth mum, and her name is Louise Alison Miller, and she's from Manchester, and she was quite young, and that's why she gave up Ruby, and now she's like a nurse." And they find out all along Ruby Sunday is human. She's not an alien, and they find out the pointing was pointing at Ruby Road, and the mother wanted the name Ruby. So, thanks to RTD, this mystery of who Ruby is and all this, basically she's human. Why did she have this power to snow? I just thought this is a bit strange. Really? Ruby says, "My name is Ruby." When she approaches a mother in a coffee shop, I'm going a little bit back because I've just gone a bit too forward there. They go to the doctor finds where their biological birth mother is in this coffee shop somewhere in England. Don't know if it's Manchester or somewhere, but they go to this coffee shop. Her mother's there. The doctor says, "What are you going to say to her?" "I don't know." So she goes in. Her mother's having a coffee and some kind of pastry cake dish thing, and Ruby gets a coffee, and then the coffee manager says, coffee for Ruby Sunday, cappuccino for Ruby Sunday." She says, "Yeah, that's me, that's my name." And they enter the coffee shop. She's in the coffee shop. Doctor's in behind the scenes, outside. In the background, you see the TARDIS. And then she turns and looks at it, and says, "Ruby, you're my mum." And then there's this big hug scene, and then we flash forward to seeing her adopted parents, Ruby's mother seeing her adopted parents. And you can see the Doctor's now. He's now torn whether to have it back in the TARDIS or not. And the Doctor looks happy, but he's very too much human emotion in the scene. So the Doctor says to her, "You got the greatest adventure of all. Yours has just begun." In other words, a real mom, now a real dad wants to come and see her. And the Doctor says, "I'll always be around when you need me." And she enters the TARDIS for the last time and walks away. And then the Doctor says, "Goodbye, Ruby." And then we get to the bit where we hear this voiceover from Mrs. Flood. And she says, "Oh, Ruby's Sunday's story has ended." And she says something about the Doctor's story is about to end in terror. And then she says, "Night, night." 3 questions came into my mind. Is she the Rani? Is she Susan Foreman? Or the way she was dressed in costume, is she Romana? But they did like a bit of a Disney-fied Mary Poppins type look to her. So we don't know if she is now leaving this area of planet Earth. And to me, I was very disappointed with this episode. The reason why I'm giving it 2 out of 10 is the fantastic performance from Gabriel Wolf for doing the original voice of Sutekh again. He has got acting chops, this guy. He is fantastic voice actor. I don't know if he's actually done a live action performance as an actor. Bonnie Langford again as Mel, very good in the role. And Anita Dobson as the mysterious Mrs. Flood, fantastic she was in this. We got to see a bit more of her, and now we've got a bit of a mystery. Is this going to be the character for this final? I think it's going to be the final season now, because it's not worked out, the show. And to me, the Doctor doesn't work as a crying Time Lord, and Gatway is playing him very too human. I think Russell T Davies is making the show too human, too humanified, like a soap. And it's not a sci-fi show anymore in my eyes. And to me, everything else didn't work. It was just a complete rip-off of the Mummy films and Stargate and Avengers Infinity War. So it's 2 out of 10, I'm afraid, for this episode. Subscribe to the channel. Take care. See you soon.